Okay students, let us see what is isoquant now. We have seen the law of short run law of production and long run law of production. Now we will see what is isoquant. Isoquant, the word isoquant itself is a combination of two different words, iso and quant. Iso means same or similar and quant means quantity. Same quantity or same production. So it is called as isoquant. So what does it mean? It means same amount of production. Now we have got labor and capital. Now it depends on us how much labor you want to use and how much capital you want to use. So somebody may use large number of capital but very less number of labor. Somebody may use very large number of labor and less amount of capital. Let us take example of different industries. Like agriculture. Agriculture requires lot of labor. In India, agriculture requires lot of labor. While capital, machineries are very less used in agriculture. Okay. But if you go to a electronic manufacturing company or some company like where washing machines and such kind of products are manufactured, you'll find that everything is technology based. So what happens is that machineries are more and labor are less. So there are some places where labor is more and machineries are less, or capital is less. Somewhere capital is more and machineries and labor is less. Now we have an option that whether we can replace the labor by machines or replace the machines by labor. So we can have different combinations of labor and machines which give us same production. And combinations, if you take all the combinations of labors and machines together and we draw a curve, it is called as isoquant. So isoquant is what? Isoquant is a locus or graph showing combination of, this pen is actually not working properly, showing combination of labor and capital which produce same quantity of goods or service. Locus or graph which is showing the combination of labor and capital which produce same quantity of goods and services. Now let us take a table where we can show this. So let us take L and K, labor and capital, and let us think that the output, that is the combination, has to give 100 units. The production has to be 100 units. Labor and capital. What are the various combinations that we can take now? Say for example, we can have 20 labor and 1 machine. Okay. Now we replace this machine by one more machine. If we replace by this one more machine, maybe it becomes say 16. Okay. Now when you replace it by one more machine, here now this becomes say 13. Now we replace it by say one more machine, it becomes say 12, like this. So what is happening? That the labor is reducing and machineries are increasing. Okay. Now there is the inverse proportion in these two. You can find that there is the inverse proportion. So if you further reduce it by 5, it becomes 11. So it's like this. Now the labor is reduced and the machineries are increased, like this. Now probably what will happen is that I think more number of machines will have to be replaced by more number of labor. Now if we plot this figure, these various kind of combinations together, we will find that we have capital on the y-axis and labor on the x-axis, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have got here, this is labor, so it is maybe 11 here, 12, it is 13, it is 16, then it is say 20 over here. So I got these labor figures here, and these are the figures of the capital, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we have 5, we have 11 somewhere here. When it is 4, it is 12. When it is 3, it is 13. When it is 4, it is 12. Like this, it keeps on reducing, and we find that we get a graph like this. So we get a graph like this. Just extend this figure here. We find that finally this graph will go like this. So we get an isocont curve which looks like this. Now when this isocont curve looks like this, we'll find that this curve is the combination of the labor and capital which produce the same amount of quantity of goods, that is production, total production is equal to 100. Okay. But now if you increase the production, for 200 production you will require more number of machines and more number of labor. So obviously these figures will go up and you will get another curve which is here for TP is equal to 200. And if you reduce the figures, if you want lower production, maybe the capital and the labor requirements will reduce and the figure will come to the left side with a production of total production of say 50. So what is happening here is that when the production increases, then the isocont curve moves towards the right side, and when the production reduces, then the isocont moves towards the left side. So one moves to the right side, it increases, and decreases when it is moving to the left side. Okay. Now looking at these figures, there are few things which we need to understand about the isocont. The properties of isocont that we will see now. So to understand the properties of isocont, we have to have one more thing here, that is say a labor to capital ratio. Okay. Now here we can see that it is 20, while now so a replacement delta K by delta L by delta K. So it starts from here. We have replaced one machine by 4 labors here, while it is reduced here to 3. Here it is reduced to say 1, and here it is reduced to again say 1, and then later on it will be 0 also. So what is happening here is that this ratio of change in the labor divided by change in the capital, that is for every machine, number of labor we are replacing will go on reducing. This ratio, which is delta L by delta K, is called as marginal rate of technical substitution. Marginal rate of technical substitution. Why it is technical? Because it is related to production activity. That's why it is technical. Where we are replacing the people by machines. That's why it is called as technical substitution. Marginal rate of technical. Why it is marginal? Because every time we are increasing one machine, it is replacing 4 labor, then 3 labor, maybe 2 labor, 1 labor, like this. So what is happening? This marginal rate of technical substitution, which is also called as MRTS, is actually diminishing. Diminishing means it is reducing. It is diminishing, it is reducing here. So we need to understand these figures now. Delta L by delta K. This is called as marginal rate of technical substitution, MRTS, and it is diminishing in nature. Now, looking at all these figures, we have certain properties of isocont which we need to understand. The first property is that isoconts have negative slope. Isoconts have negative slope. Now, why do isoconts have negative slope? Why do they have negative slope? Because there is an inverse relation between labor and capital. That is, when we increase machines, labors reduce, और we increase labor, machines will reduce. दोनों भी साथ में नहीं बढ़ेंगे, दोनों भी साथ में कम नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि अगर साथ में बढ़ेंगे या कम होंगे तो प्रोडक्शन बदल जाएगा. That is why when the labor increases, capital will reduce. When the capital increases, labor will reduce. So they are in inverse proportion. Labor and capital, they are in inverse proportion, and that is why we have a negative slope. That is the first property of isoquant. Second is that this is convex to the origin. What do you mean by convex to origin? Convex to origin means it comes to the origin and it goes like this. So it is coming here and is going back. Why it is happening like this? Because here the slope is high. See, the slope of this curve is delta k by delta L or delta L by delta k. This curve slope is high here, very high here. It is almost 1 here, it is less than 1 here. Slope is reducing. It is high, more than 1, maybe 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.5, 0.3, 0.2, like this. It is reducing. So, what is this delta L by delta k? This is nothing but the marginal rate of technical substitution, and it is diminishing in nature. And because it is diminishing in nature, that is why isoquant is convex to the origin. So, इसका रीजन ये है और इसका रीजन क्या है? Diminishing MRTS, marginal rate of technical substitution. Third point we have to understand here is that it never intersects x or y axis. It will never happen that this curve will intersect x axis or y axis. Why? Suppose ये कर्व अगर x axis को y axis को intersect करेगा, तो इसका मतलब क्या होगा? समझो, ये आपका कर्व है, ये कर्व अगर यहाँ पे इंटरसेक्ट करेगा तो क्या होगा? ये पॉइंट पर आपका लेबर जीरो हो जाएगा. लेबर विल बिकम जीरो हियर. बट वी कैनॉट डू प्रोडक्शन विद जीरो लेबर. वी मे हैव बेस्ट मशीन्स इन द वर्ल्ड. वी रिक्वायर एटलीस्ट 1% टू स्टार्ट द मशीन्स, stop the machines, feed programs in it. So we cannot have zero labor. Similarly, this will never intersect on this side, because if it intersects here, it means that the machines are zero or capital is zero. We cannot do production with zero capital. We require at least some capital to run a business. So neither labor can be zero nor capital can be zero. That is why it never intersects x or y axis. Fourth important property and the last important property of isoquants is that two isoquants never intersect each other. Two isoquants never intersect each other. They never intersect. Now let us take a situation. To understand this, let us take a situation where the two isoquants intersect. Let us take here, there is one isoquant which is showing a production of 100. There is another isoquant showing a production of say 120, and we show that they are intersecting here. What will happen at this point of intersection? Now is this point representing production of 100 or production of 120? So with the same number of labor and same number of capital, you cannot have two production values. You can either have 100 or you can have 120, and that is why these two lines will never intersect. That is the reason why two isoquants never intersect each other. So these are the four properties of isoquants. Now there is one more concept in isoquant which we need to understand. So I'll just make some space for this here. Already we have drawn three lines here, so I'll use it. Now, which is the best place to do production in an isoquant is where the slope is in between. It is around 1 or 0.8 to 1.5, like that, so that we have got adequate combination of labor and capital. Neither the labor is very high nor the machinery is very high, because if we have a higher amount of capital, then the factories become capital intensive in nature. So we require a lot of capital. If and then we are capital dependent in that case. If we have large number of labor requirement and less amount of capital, we are labor dependent. So let us have a combination which is giving us some midpoint over here. So what we can say is that the best economical region of production is somewhere here between these 2 points, or in these 2 lines it is somewhere between these 2 points. So here it is these 2 points, here it is these 2 points, maybe here it is somewhere these 2 points. So we have like this 2 points will be there which will show the best area of production here, 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 and if we join them from origin like this and we join them like this, we get 2 lines between which this area falls, which area gives us the best production region. These 2 lines which are confining जो boundaries है इसके, they are called as ridge lines. They are called as ridge lines. So it is a O, L and O, R. Right side ridge line, left side ridge line, O, R, O, L. And the area in between these 2, this area this is called as the economic region of production. It is called as the economic region of production. Which area is called like this? This area is called as economic region of production. So let us summarize. We have seen that isoquant is nothing but it's a combination of 2 words, iso and quant. Iso means similar, quant means quantity. The 2 combinations of labor and capital, or all combinations of labor and capital which give us a curve which is representing same amount of production is called as isoquant curve. And we have, for that we have taken some hypothetical figures, plotted it in the graph, and we have shown that it is convex to the origin. There are 4 properties of this. We have seen the 4 properties. It has a negative slope, it is convex to the origin, it never intersects x or y axis, and 2 isoquants never intersect each other. We have also seen that as the production increases, isoquant moves to the right side, and as the production reduces, isoquant moves to the left side. Then we have seen something called as marginal rate of technical substitution, which is nothing but delta L by delta K, change in labor divided by change in capital. Since we are increasing only one machine, total number of labor we replace by one machine is called as the marginal rate of technical substitution. It is diminishing in nature, that we have observed that it is diminishing in nature. Then we have found out an economic region of production, which is usually somewhere in the middle part of the isoquant curves. We plotted the 2 lines which are called as ridge lines. OL, that is the left ridge line, and OR is the right ridge line. The area which falls between these 2 ridge lines is called as economic region of production. So it shows that suppose I want to produce 100 number of products, I should produce somewhere here in this line. If I have to produce 200 products, I have to produce somewhere here on this line. If I have to produce 50 products, I have to produce somewhere on this line. So this is a kind of economic model which is used in the efficient production using the isoquant curve. Thank you very much.